This podcast isn't just about real estate or business. It's about faith, family, and the doors God opens that change everything. So today we have my beautiful wife, Bethany McKay. Yay, Bethany! Cheers, applause, audience. Bethany, you're so beautiful. If people wanted to see more of your beautiful face, where would they find you?
Yes, Instagram is where I am right now, but we're about to be on a lot of other things, like a TV show called Nashville Next Door.
Yep. So check her out at Nashville Top Realtor on IG. And then across streaming platforms, American Dream TV Network is going to be doing our show, Nashville Next Door, on Amazon
Prime,
Fire TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, YouTube, HGTV, and the Travel Channel. So we are going to be doing that. We're super excited about it. And we can't be here without the awesome Mitch. Mitch, where can people find you?
You can find us at City Limits Studios on all social media, and our social media company is Clutch Socials.
Yeah. And if you need help with podcasting, social media, videography, he does music videos. And I actually found out that I am sitting in the same chair.
Can't say that.
As someone very important.
Oh, okay.
Very important of Nashville fame, the Hawk Tua girl, Haley Welch, was in this chair.
Well, that's cool.
So that puts us on the same level of fame as her, I think, just by the association.
Run that one more time without, because that's good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can use that. No,
Yeah.
you're good.
I was like, I don't know if you can actually say that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Run it without what?
Me laughing at you.
No, laughing was
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Just saying you can't say that.
Oh, yeah.
Just run that part.
Okay.
Just found
Yeah.
out I'm sitting in the same chair.
Yeah, and because Mitch is awesome and everybody uses him, I found out that I am sitting in the same chair as
Who?
Haley Welch, the Hawk Tua
Tua.
girl of Nashville fame.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
It's a special chair.
It is. I think that we are on the same levels of fame because we sit in the same places
Well, look at us.
from time to time. Yep. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty special lady.
Well, as far as our first episode goes, who are we, babe?
Well, I'm still figuring that out, but I think you have a pretty good idea. So I thought I'd ask you.
Oh, really?
Yep. So if you're tuning in for the first time, this has a real estate slant to it because we're both real estate agents. Mm-hmm. We want this to be a bunch of different topics because in addition to being high performing real estate agents, we handle a lot of volume every year. Super excited to talk to people about how to grow and scale their business in that regard. Mm-hmm. We are a family of 6. We've got 4 children under the ages of 15 through 9.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we homeschool them all. We love Jesus, and we do a lot as far as a niche into real estate goes. We help people buy and sell their own personal homes without a doubt. Nashville is one of the best places to own real estate. But we niche down into
the investment world.
So the investment world covers a host of different topics.
And it's a completely different beast.
Yes. And we dabble in a bunch of those.
We're also investors ourselves.
Yeah, we're investors ourselves. So we've got some expertise in those areas. So we want to share all of these things with you. We named it The Doors That We've Opened. Mm-hmm. We've named it specifically focusing on the doors. There's a tie-in from our TV show that we hope that you watched called Nashville Next Door. And now the doors that we've opened, that symbolism talks to the many different areas of life. Because when we first decided to get married, that was a door to a chapter that we were never going to be the same again. Mm-hmm. And when you first decided to become a real estate agent, that was a door that once you walk through, it was never going to be the same again. When we had kids, all of these things, and one of our biggest prayers has always been, Lord, would you please open the doors where you want us to go and close the doors where you don't want us to go.
Yeah.
And
but we've also learned that sometimes you just got to walk through the door to see if it gets shut.
Yeah.
Because you won't ever know.
Exactly.
Until you walk through it. So we kind of changed that prayer a little bit of, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. We're going to walk through this door. Please guide us and show us if this is right or wrong.
Yeah. And then the last little bit of symbolism is the doors that come from investment property. We work with several very successful investors who talk about the doors that they own, properties under management.
How many doors do you have?
How many doors do you have is common expression and stuff like that. So that lets people know where you are in the stage of building your real estate portfolio. We're very passionate about multi-generational wealth. We believe that the Bible is true when it says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. So if you're following what the Word of God says, then you are actively planning on giving money and houses to your grandchildren. So that takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, and a lot of knowledge. And we are constantly accumulating that and deploying that. We're putting the effort into making that goal a reality. And we love being around people that have a similar goal as well.
And coaching people.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. So in the interest of people following us along on this journey, sharing some wisdom, sharing our testimony of how we got here. How did you get here, babe? Like, you were a rising star in synchronized swimming, of all things. Very cool. And you were a rising star in the corporate commercial world. And tell people who are listening how we got here and what were the lessons learned along the way.
So let's first talk about how we met and how we got married 16 years ago. Yeah.
And I think this is my first, if anyone's using what we talk about as encouragement or lessons learned, I think that one of the big things that I can speak to is when it comes to making decisions, there's a lot of fasting and praying that's going on in my life. I have never really made a life-changing decision without a period of fasting and praying, usually like 5 to 7 days. And it goes back to something that my father taught me, was that when you have to hear a word from the Lord, when you have to know what his plan is for your life, for your future, your calling, you have to give up something, and you have to give so much effort to hear that. It's like the woman in the Bible with the condition of blood who like pressed through the crowd and pushed past everybody that was trying to get to Jesus and reach for the hem of his garment is the image that my dad impressed upon me. So I do that in prayer and fasting, and the first time I employed it was when I was trying to figure out what to do when it came to college, because I was a swimmer.
A regular swimmer.
I was a speed swimmer, as you say. I was a swimmer. You're not a swimmer. You're a synchronized swimmer, or water ballet. Anyway, and so I had been training really, really hard, and I'd done cool stuff by being a high school All-American. And I was getting recruited by some schools. They weren't the schools that I wanted to go to necessarily, because I wanted to go to like the big Texas schools. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I wanted to go to UT.
Hook 'em.
I want to go to Texas A&M, gig 'em. I wanted to go to SMU. I did get a call from TCU, but we won't get into that. But so all of this was happening, and I was like, I either want to go to one of these schools or I want to go to seminary. And so I did a week of praying
or
and
the military
fasting.
too.
Yeah, the military was definitely an option, and I was pretty passionate about that. But I felt like college needed to be done
first.
So whether that was seminary or that was a regular liberal arts college
for swimming.
And after the period of praying and fasting, I got another call from the coach at the University of the Incarnate Word. And that was in San Antonio, Texas. That was not an option.
Right.
Because University of Incarnate Word did not have a men's swim team.
Yep.
They had a women's swim team. I was like, that doesn't help me at all. I mean, maybe in this day and age it would have, but that's beside the point. And he called me and he said, hey, we're making a men's team. And I've been asking around town, this is going to be our first recruiting class. And I wanted to know if you wanted to be a part of it. And I said, wow, that was totally out of the blue, not anywhere in my plans. And if you can make it cheaper than going to community college, which is was my default option, then I'll swim for you. And I'll enroll in the four-year university. And he didn't make it cheaper, but I still ended up swimming there.
Private schools are not cheap.
Private schools are not cheap.
But you still got a scholarship, but still.
Yeah, and did that for a year. Or was it 2? It was 1 year. And I was like, this is great. I'm living the dream. We're going to national championships in our first year. We're doing awesome things on the men's team, and I'm enrolled. I'm on my business degree. I'm on track to graduate in a few years. I probably need to start praying about my wife. I probably need to, that's the order of things, right? We got education, so then job will naturally come, but I've been told that who you're going to marry is the most important decision of your life.
Yep.
So I need to approach that decision with prayer and fasting. And then
you're a smart cookie.
Yeah. I've been known to be right a time or two. And so then I started praying and fasting for my future wife. And I was like, Lord, I can picture this whole life with this person. I think they need to have these qualities. I'm only going to, date girls. I'm only going to ask girls out that show some signs of fulfilling these roles as my life partner.
You had it all figured out.
My love for life. And as a result of that praying and fasting, I think this is a segue into what was going on in your life.
Yeah.
At that time.
So in my world at that time, I grew up in the Central Coast of California. Beautiful, beautiful area. Miss it sometimes as far as the scenery. There's just nothing like California beauty. But at that point in my life, so as you mentioned, I was a synchronized swimmer. And synchronized swimming is it's a different type of sport. We say it's a very Eastern model of coaching.
So think Chinese, Russian,
Japanese,
you're
Asian. Yeah.
From a very early age,
yes,
your sports career is decided for you.
Correct.
The coaches are very aggressive, very harsh, highly disciplinarian, and many times abusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a whole nother podcast, so we won't get into that. And I wouldn't be who I am today without it, even, after working through healing and all of that. But all that to be said, I was on track to go to the Olympics. That is what had been decided for me. And I couldn't mentally, I couldn't do it. I had all the athleticism, but mentally I just couldn't push through that. It was too hard for me. And so I quit when I was 16, excuse me. I quit when I was 16, and that was devastation to my family. But then about almost a year later, I had this dream that I was supposed to swim one more time. And I'm not a dreamer like you are, but this was a very vivid dream, so much so down to the sequence on my swimsuit, and we actually mixed the music to what I heard from my dream and made the routine up with that. And the crazy part is that there was literally one meet left before qualifiers for nationals. And so I was like, well, I got to do this because of this dream. It just felt so real. And so all of my competitors were the girls I was potentially going to go to the Olympics with. So I was just like, what in the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? But anyways, long story short, I did end up swimming. And I did end up making it to nationals. And I swam in nationals and got in top places in nationals with my solo. And I'll never forget after the music ended, just like tears down my face. I was just like, I did it, God. Like, yay, like it's over. I can officially close that chapter in my life. It was really healing. And then what happened next is that a lot of the coaches and different people were coming up to me and they're like, well, Bethany, if you're not going to go to the Olympics, at least go get your college paid for. And I was like, you know, and of course my parents were so excited about that. And I was just like, oh, heck no. Like this was the plan. We're sticking to this plan.
One and done.
Yeah, I'm not swimming again. And, you know, so that was, I think nationals were in June. I think you were usually in May or June. I don't remember. But then, you know, at this point I already had a really good paying job. I was putting myself through a community college in the evenings, and I had my own apartment. Like I had my life. I was doing it. And then I was also, I didn't grow up with praying and fasting like you did. You definitely have taught me that as in our marriage. But I definitely was praying and journaling and, you know, all these things, just trying to figure out, you know, being a young 18-year-old. I mean, you know, there's a lot going on there. And I remember my dad called me and he said, Bethany, hey, would you like to meet for lunch? And I loved meeting my dad for lunch. And I was like, yeah, of course. And, you know, before this time, we had talked about like colleges, because they kept saying like, you should go here, you should do this, you know, whatever. Stanford is the one they wanted me to go to, but unfortunately, there's not a back door as far as like, great if you don't have like a 4.2 at the time. If you didn't have like over a 4.0 GPA, no matter how great of a synchronized swimmer you are, you can't get in. And they were pushing for that. And even the coach, I mean, she had been my coach since I was like 6 or 7, not that whole time, but you know. And anyway, so if I was going to go anywhere, it was going to be Texas, because I didn't want to go to Ohio, because I knew it was going to be cold and I didn't want to go that far away from California. And so when I met my dad for lunch, he said, you know, Bethany, what if you're supposed to go to Texas? And I was like, I remember thinking and looking at him like, what do you mean? What if I'm supposed to go? And he's like, well, what if your husband is in Texas? And
Shocker, he was.
Shocker. I about fell out of my chair, and I was just like, you know, if there was one thing that God was going to use, he knew it was going to be my husband, because that was very dear to my heart too. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have kids. I always knew I was going to be a mommy. And I had lived a lot of life at a very young age. And so, you know, finding a husband was important to me. So that meeting was on Thursday. I went home. I worked the next day. I prayed. I just couldn't get it off my mind. And then I called my dad and I was like, hey, we're going to Texas. That was Friday night. And he was like, all right, I'm coming over. Throw everything in the car. We got to go. School starts on Monday. And I literally just left everything behind and got in that car, cried a lot. I think there was a couple of times where I was like, Dad, we got to turn around. I can't do this. And then like, I wasn't even enrolled in the school yet. Like, they didn't know I was coming. They had called me 100 times, leaving me voicemails and saying, you know, we'd love to have you be on our team. So I had to call the coach too on the way to Texas and be like, hey, you know, that person that hasn't been answering your phone calls or emails, well, can you get me into school? Because I'm on my way. So that's how I got to Texas. Yep.
Man, that's so, like, hearing that part of your story, you had to be at least a little scared.
Oh, yeah. I was so scared. But I also had the
exciting
faith.
It is to go out and step out in faith, be excited to see whatever God has in store for you.
Yeah.
And everything's new, you're experiencing everything for first time.
Yeah.
You know, moving to Texas.
I didn't know a
Newsflash,
soul.
We're not all cowboys.
Yeah. Big culture shock. I was actually pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not what I imagined at all.
Yeah.
Culturally, it was not what I was anticipating.
Yeah, and you hadn't even seen the campus before, and now you're
never.
like, and this is where I'm going to live now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they had to find me a roommate and get me into a dorm, and I mean, I literally had nothing. I came with like my swimsuit, my nose plug, caps, goggles, and we had to go buy a whole bunch of stuff because I couldn't bring my furniture from my apartment. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to look back on, but I'm glad that I listened, and there's just something in my gut that I knew was going to be okay, and I had to do it. I had to see where it went.
Yep.
Now it did not end the way that I think my parents at the time would have liked. But fast forward into meeting each other, I actually knew your brother first and didn't even know he had a brother. But here you are.
Yep. For the uninitiated, my brother had asked her out first, and I think the kids say, shoot your shot. And
He shot a shot.
Yeah, shot a shot, and you shot him down.
Yeah, but I was nice about it.
Yeah.
And we're cool now.
We're
like,
cool.
Trent, if you're
It's not
listening
weird.
to this,
Yeah.
it's not weird at all.
Yeah. But we had met at a soccer game for the university, and all the teams are athletes supporting other athletes. You go to my game, I'll go to your meet and stuff. And of course, it's college, so after party,
All the
it's got to
parties.
happen. And
You never went to any of the parties. That's why I didn't know you and only knew your brother.
Yeah, I was pretty
But
straight.
you went to this one.
Yeah, I did go to this one because you were going, and I was like, man.
And I didn't even know you knew me.
Yeah, I was a lifeguard.
You were watching me from
and
the pool deck.
I had watched, not creepy or anything.
You are creepy.
I had noticed, and not watching, I was noticing how much you love to dance to the music that y'all use for your performances and stuff like that. And I was like,
And
dang.
also because I'm like half black.
Yeah. Black Irish.
Black
They're not really black. But and I was super excited to meet you. We were piling into different cars. We ended up in the trunk hatchback of one of your teammates' car. And I tapped you on your shoulder, and you were like surprised that there's another person in there with you. Like we're this close apart. Like
I think I was still nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like a month in to school, I think. I was still trying to figure out who the heck I was.
Yep.
At that point. But yeah, you tapped me on my shoulder and you're like, hey, Bethany, or something. And I was like, who in the heck is this guy? And how does he know my name?
Yeah.
And then...
Because my brother had told me about her first. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, there's this awesome girl. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. Sounds nice.
And then you and your funny straight-laced self said to me next, hey, is that a purity ring on your finger? And just to be clear, I was not a pure person, but the purity culture at that time was just so thick. That's probably a whole nother podcast that I will not get into right now. But I was so shocked that you, one, knew what that was, and two, you said next was, I said, yeah, how do you know, or something like that? And you're like, because I have one too. And I was like,
That was my line.
That was
ladies
your line.
and gentlemen. And I got her with the purity ring talk. That was
so I guess
super
purity
impressive.
culture worked.
It worked for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the
It was
perfect one.
Yeah, it was well intentioned. You know,
It was
parents
well-intentioned.
at that generation are just like trying to keep their kids from going crazy and hurting themselves.
Not be
and,
like them in the 60s and
yeah,
70s.
not make some mistakes that maybe you regret and stuff like that. So it was well intentioned, but like it's kind of cringy
It
to
is
think
cringy.
about now.
It's very cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the short answer is honor God with all things, including your body and your relationships. And if you do that, you're probably going to be okay. Anyway.
So then we met. So this was September.
In September.
Let's fast forward to
I asked you to be my girlfriend in October. We dated. And December was Christmas break. Christmas break for athletes. I don't know if this is true for all sports. I've only ever known swimming.
And synchronous swimming, yeah.
Yeah,
It's intense. With
the gap in classes, you're not doing classes, you're not doing homework, maybe some assignments, but the lecture time is now training time.
Yep.
Like every bit that you were putting into the classroom, you're now putting in the pool and you're putting in the weight room.
And they literally want to kill you during that time.
Yeah, it's so intense. It's so difficult. You end up training, eating, and sleeping and nothing else.
Yep.
And so I had done a morning practice, and I had come home and I had eaten breakfast and I'm not going to do anything but sleep
because you had to go back.
I'm not gonna do anything but sleep until the next practice, which was like in 4 or 5 hours. And I said, I'm gonna turn on TV, watch a little bit of TV before I fall asleep. And this was in the era, they still have them, but they're not as popular as they used to be. But like the Good Morning America type TV news shows in the morning, and San Antonio, of course, has their version. And I turn it on, and the host is saying, like, I think I turned it on when she was just saying this. We're giving away a beautiful wedding valued at $75,000 at the Hotel Valencia on the lovely San Antonio Riverwalk. I can still hear it to this day. And I was like, that's interesting. We're giving it away to one lucky couple who's engaged to be married for next year. And we're going to open it up for San Antonio to vote for their favorite couple. And I was like, well, free wedding sounds pretty cool. And then
broke college kid.
Yeah. And I was like, there's this girl I'm dating. I'm pretty sure I'm going to marry her.
For 2 months.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm going to marry her. I've known her for like 6-8 weeks. I think we're close. And
when you know, you know.
You do. And so I called you and said, this was my initial proposal. Mm-hmm. Hey, there's this wedding contest. Mm-hmm. Do you want to enter?
Yep.
And you said yes.
Yep.
And we had to ask our parents' permission and make sure that
'cause we're still babies.
They knew. And we put a little story together.
Yep.
So that we could be a contestant on this TV show.
Yep.
And the San Antonio wedding experience, our story was that I hadn't gotten the ring, done the whole.
But we didn't tell them that.
We didn't tell them that.
They were thinking we were already engaged.
We told them, like, everybody knows Blake and Bethany are engaged. It was kind of like, where are we on this? But
well, I mean, you asking me if I wanted to enter into a wedding, I guess that was.
Yeah. But I had told you that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you.
Yes, you had.
And so off the application went. We found out very quickly, out of hundreds of couples that entered into this contest, that we were one of 3.
Yep. Then we had to go on TV.
We were one of 3 that were going to be interviewed by the show.
Yep.
And then it was going to open up to voting.
Yep. And
it was super exciting.
It was our first TV show, guys.
Yeah. We were like, wow, this is really cool. And we just, played it up to be the cute young couple, and which a lot of it was true.
Yeah.
Like we were
the cute young couple, for sure.
I was 21, you were 19.
Yeah.
And so they opened it up to voting.
San Antonio voted.
We had so many people calling us and saying, hey, I voted. Hey, I made a computer program that will vote for you like 1,000 times in an hour and stuff like that. I was like, whoa, I bet you.
I still wonder if that was real or not.
Yeah, the TV producers probably didn't realize you could do that, but it was like the infancy of social media and stuff.
Yeah.
People were doing a lot of crazy stuff.
Facebook literally had just come out.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And we ended up winning.
Yeah.
Now,
Surprise.
So I'm just going to fill you guys in. We thought when we won the wedding in February.
And we won it on live television, which was actually, they surprised us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
When we won it, it was in February or March?
February. Yep.
So we had been dating since October, November, December, January, February, 5 months.
Yep.
And
we still weren't engaged yet when we won the wedding, by the way.
Yeah. And we both were super excited. We won the wedding, $75,000. This is going to be beautiful. This is going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And so we're like, great. We'll just tell them that we're going to get married next year.
Right.
We're just going to pick a date when we know each other better. And I don't think we got to give them our cool idea.
No.
Our great idea. They just said,
follow us back here.
Yeah. Y'all are getting married in May. Y'all are getting married beginning of May. So 8 months after we had been dating, 9 months after I had met you, we were scheduled to be married.
No, it was like
And-
7 months. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I'll have to look at a calendar.
yeah.
Anyway, but it's so wild to see like the conference room activity that happened after that. They sat us down with TV producers and lawyers and vendors. And so whenever you
Sign
watch
our life away.
yeah,
like
whenever
buying
you
a
watch
house.
any kind of giveaway or whenever you watch any kind of these romance shows or
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like, just know that there's like a ton of behind the scenes
Yes.
stuff that is happening.
We were so naive.
And we were signing contracts, and they said, even if you break up, so between now and the wedding ceremony, even if the wedding is off, you are going to go
still
through
gonna
this
do
ceremony. There is too much invested into this date. You have to show up. You have to look pretty. You have to say the words. It doesn't have to be a binding ceremony.
Right.
But I was like, man, this is so wild.
It was so wild.
Yeah.
And then we had to call our parents and be like, we're getting married in 2 months.
Yeah. And I think we nailed like the perfect amount of shock
Yeah.
where they were just like shocked and went along with it.
Right.
Because there's so many things where they've been shocked and like been upset or been
Right.
like raised a fuss or whatever
Yeah.
the case might be. But when we got married, it was beautiful. It was awesome. More than what 2 broke college students could ever
Oh, yeah.
be able to do. And it's just so cool. Like I credit God for his favor in that. And
Definitely.
and because you're like, what did I do to deserve that? Nothing.
Right.
I just was in the right place at the right time. I prayed, I fasted, and
Right.
I just said, Lord, open the doors where you want them to be open and close them where you want to be closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So-
was a very crazy open door.
Yeah.
And that was 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here today.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's a really cool example of when God opened a door that we never would have thought possible. Like,
Yeah.
I look at my life and I am so blessed to know that I've spent almost as many years knowing you, being married to you, as I have without you. And just to know, like,
We're almost there. It's crazy.
yeah, my life has been so much richer, so much more blessed. I am so thankful that I found you sooner rather than later. And
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
And we have been able to accomplish so much more together than we ever could have
Yeah.
apart and working separately.
Yep.
Yeah.
So much so, I mean, not to say that our journey has not been easy by any means. We've had to learn and grow up together in a lot of ways and face healing and, like, you know, yeah, grow up together. That's the best way to say it, and help each other through different things. And it's not been easy, but it's also been one of the biggest blessings ever. So much so that I already pray for my kids' spouses. Like, God, I hope that they get to meet somebody younger sooner rather than later. And I pray that you're already preparing them and their personality and all the things. Because like you said from the very beginning, who you choose in marriage is literally probably the biggest decision of your life. And so, yeah, it's definitely a blessing. And look what God has done in our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
been-
that's how we met, folks.
So you may be facing some kind of decision or door. We'll just use the language where you're not sure. Maybe you're not figuring out if you're going to be married, but like something that's really you
Big
gotta,
to you in your season right
you
now.
got to figure out a direction. We believe every listener is standing in front of a door right now, and we hope this podcast gives you encouragement to walk through it.
Amen.